bold, and extremely fun. It's Sunrise with Craig Vronick right here on KCMX AM 880. Lively conversations around news, politics, and people, plus local news and weather every 30 minutes. We want to hear from you. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or go to kcmxam.com. Join in the conversation by calling 541-772-8255. Sunrise, where it matters what you think.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sunrise Show. 7 minutes after the hour, 60 degrees today. It's a beautiful day in Southern Oregon. Welcome, everyone. Sunrise with Craig, a little bold, extremely fun, and I hope everyone's having a good time, getting ready for the 4th of July, but serious business and just amazing the efforts of Dr. Mark Christian. He's the founder of Global Faith Institute, globalfaithinstitute.org, and when you hear what we're going to talk about next related to what's happened in America, related to the Muslim Brotherhood and Hamas, and we're always hearing these words. And Dr. Mark Christian, I want to welcome you to the program. Thank you so much for your time this morning. You're doing well. Here's the thing. Americans are hearing, of course, we know September 11th, 2001. We're hearing Hamas. We're hearing Sharia law. We're hearing Muslim Brotherhood. We're hearing, Osama bin Laden and, the Al-Qaeda. No one had heard about that Al-Qaeda. All of these groups, but they're all mired in Islamic terrorism and activism, and it has a common thread, and that's the Muslim faith, right?
It is totally right. Let me start by saying happy birthday to America, the greatest nation ever existed on earth. And, when you are tackling the Islamic issue, it is very sensitive because at one point you are talking about what is supposedly a religion, and you have 1.3 billion people are following it today. Also, it is the fastest growing religion in the United States, and the number one converts to Islam are the single white women in the United States. All of those are proven statistics, and it is very important things to know about Islam before talking about the Islamic ideology and so forth.
Exactly.
There is nothing in the Islamic ideology or the Islamic teachings or the Islamic theology that supports any kind of peaceful Islam whatsoever at this time. There is definitely people out there who are very peaceful, who wants to abide with the laws and the Constitution of the United States and want to live in harmony and peace with their neighbors and their co-workers. But there is nothing that they can lay on and say, this is my book of Islam, this is different from those terrorists in Iraq or in Syria or in Egypt or anywhere else. They don't have anything that they can rely on as their sources. There is no current peaceful sources for peaceful Islam whatsoever. And this is a huge, big problem that we are facing it right now.
And see, Mark, you speak from experience because, born in Egypt and you were, brought up through the Muslim Brotherhood and, you were going to be in this a Sunni religious leader. I mean, your family, you're from there, you've been there, you know what you're talking about, you've studied the Quran most of all your life, you've come to America, you're a born-again Christian, and now you realize that out of compassion for other Muslims who are in bondage, but Mark, what I wanted to talk to you about today, aside from all the other issues going around the world, and that we have Ramadan, which started on the 28th and the 29th of June, and President Obama issues a message to Muslims on Ramadan. He writes this June 27th. This comes out of the White House Office of the Press Secretary. He says, on behalf of the American people, Michelle and I extend our best wishes to Muslim communities here in the United States and around the world on the beginning of the blessed month of Ramadan. So, and of course, it's prayer and fasting, but explain to our listeners about Ramadan. Tell us about Ramadan, what that means.
Well, Ramadan is a month during the moon calendar that the Muslims across the world are obliged, as one of the pillars of Islam, to fast from sunrise to sunset, and also refrain from drinking water or any activities is not supposed to be done during the fasting time. And but at the same time, Ramadan is celebrated by many Muslims as the day that the Muslim or Prophet Muhammad launched his first attack, the first terrorist attack on Mecca. It is also celebrated to be the month that the Arabs were able to defeat Israel in 1973. It is also celebrated as the month where the Muslim across the world was able to launch jihad and following the footsteps of the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, when he launched his first war ever that happened in the 10th day of the month of Ramadan. So there is a whole bunch of things behind Ramadan as a month and a celebration and as a unique situation in the Muslim world.
It's shocking because it seems, I mean, I don't want to call the religion two-faced, but what I'm getting is two different meanings. I get the Muslim faith and the happy and peaceful and all these things over here, but then you have on the other side, these horrific acts, and that there is a common thread between all of them, and that's the Quran. And how do it's got to be
the letter of or the message of the president is quite disturbing to me, and to quite frankly, I can see that it is very confusing when the head of the United States send a message like this at the time when Christians are slaughtered, Muslims alike are slaughtered, and terrorists and chaos is going on across the world by Islamic ideology. And it's quite confusing to the people that the head of their state is telling them this message, what they should believe and how they can face the problem that is going on and how they can understand it. And this is very dangerous, to be honest with you. We cannot continue putting our hand in the sand, or our head in the sand.
Exactly.
Because we have to face the problem heads on. And if we love Muslims, and we love American Muslims, if we love your Muslim neighbor and your co-worker and your friend, we have to demand at this point in time an Islamic reform, so we can have an ideology we can refer to as a peaceful Islam. If you ask any Muslim anywhere, the 1.3 billion Muslims, and ask him, what is your theology to prove that you are peaceful? What does peace mean to you? What is it exactly that you are about? They are not going to give you any resources whatsoever to prove their point. When you ask a person, if you say Islam is the religion of peace, how can you prove that? What you can tell me to finish that sentence? Because to quite honestly, Islam is a religion of peace is not a finished sentence. You have to say because 1 and 2 and 3. And I don't ever heard before what is because. Islam is a religion of peace because of what? Because of the actions of Muhammad, because of the teachings of the Quran, because of what? When I say Jesus is the hope, he died on the cross for my sin, this is a finished sentence. What is the finished sentence when you say Islam is a religion of peace?
Well, exactly right. And, it's shocking from the standpoint of, he writes, President Obama writes this, and it's just once again confusing to people. And what is this going to say? What message is this around the world? And for Muslims, I wonder, how do they defend it, the travesty against their own women? And I just...
It's not... Yes, it's against women, it's against other Muslims, it's against Christians. The same next day that he put this message out, a guy that was under the custody of the United States of America, and he himself ordered his release, announced to be the second caliphate in Iraq. So... what kind of message is that giving? The same person, the same very next day, a guy came out and say, I'm the head of ISIS, which is the Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant, and he announced himself the current caliphate of Muslims and killing Muslims. Can you imagine putting yourself in the shoes of those Christians who live in Mosul or live in Iraq right now, and they know what kind of fate is awaiting for them? Can you imagine the mothers or the fathers of those kids who are Christians living in Iraq right now and what they can wait for? If they run away right now, they kind of mocking themselves as Christians. If they stay in their homes, there is no shelter they can take to protect them from the atrocity of ISIS or the Islamic Army right now. Can you imagine yourself in these shoes?
No, this is the part that is just absolutely, I mean, I'm shocked out of it. Number one, for the women, and we see it around the world, that the women are suffering a horrible beat down. They are stepping out and speaking up in little small groups. And then, yeah, you're actually, take it to the family unit in Iraq and Syria, and how in the world are those poor mothers and fathers defending their children and keeping their lives are unknown whether they're going to exist from day to day.
Greg, there is no hope for peace in the world right now until we face the problem heads on. First of all, first step is we have to differentiate between people and ideology. And Islam is an ideology, Muslims are people. So we have to feel sorry for people and love on them, whether they are deceived, whether they are suffering, or whatever the situation they are in, because Jesus told us to do so. And this is what America stands for people. They stand for the atrocity, America stands for the people who are oppressed everywhere. The second step is we need to call for the reform of Islam, so we can have a peaceful version that Muslims can rely on.
Exactly right. Because I love how you said that, Mark. You said Muslims are people, but Islam is an ideology. Correct?
Yes.
I mean, this, and we've got a quick break I've got to get to, and then we're going to finish up. We've got Dr. Mark Christian. He's with the Global Faith Institute based out of Omaha, Nebraska. You can go to globalfaithinstitute.org and see all of that. And Mark is a born-again Christian and was brought up in the Muslim faith there to be a Sunni leader in Egypt. And then he was able to get out of that, but came to America, born again. And we'll talk more about that because of, and this statement from President Obama related to Ramadan is very disturbing, to say the least. So we'll come right back after these messages.
Will return in a moment on KCMX News Talk 880. A little bold and extremely fun, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. on KCMX AM 880. Lively conversations around news, politics, and people, plus local news and weather every 30 minutes. Here's Craig.
Good morning, everybody. 22 minutes after the hour, about 62 degrees, on its way up to 90. We're talking with Dr. Mark Christian from the Global Faith Institute. You can go to globalfaithinstitute.org. He's got books on there. He's written about the whole subject, multiple books, and it's just fascinating from the standpoint of, Mark, we talked about this, that the leader of the free world is confusing people by this message he writes. President Obama writes, and he says, if I've done every year as president, I look forward to welcoming Muslim Americans from across the United States to the White House for an iftar dinner. And he said, it will be another opportunity for me to convey America's appreciation for the contributions of Muslim Americans to our country and to wish Muslims around the world a month blessed with the joys of family, community, peace, and understanding. Ramadan Kareem. He signs off. And
why is it hard for those Muslims who are coming to the White House to apologize for the atrocity of 9/11 and the terrorism that is going on across the world? If they are very peaceful Muslims, they got the opportunity to visit the White House and carry their iftar over there, which is the dinner that they carry right after they finish fasting that day, and they hold a prayer and make a call of prayers for Islamic prayer at the White House, and giving this opportunity in the free world. Why is it so hard for them to apologize about the atrocities of 9/11 and the people who did it and the pain that they inflicted on the United States of America? Why is that hard?
Mark, I don't know. I mean, it's hard because it seems to be double message. It's like, out of both sides of their mouth. It's say one thing and do another. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Why would you strike and terrorize someone and kill them and then say, we love you, we're peace-loving, but you said it perfectly. Muslims are people, and Islam is an ideology. That separates a little bit better.
Separates a huge big deal, definitely, but also there is an Islamic organization that is running in the United States right now, like Council of American Islamic Relationship, which is CARE, and definitely they're going to be invited to the White House, representative of that organization. Islamic Society of North America, another organization, will be invited. Muslim Student Association will be invited. All those organizations are nothing but front groups of the Muslim Brotherhood. The Muslim Brotherhood ideology and the followers is a secret society that carries different front groups across the world, and those are the main front groups in the United States, and they are invited to the White House for the iftar. How is that even right? While the same organizations that they follow and the same ideology that they follow has been announced as terrorist organization across the globe.
See, this is amazing. Look at this article. It says CAIR, C-A-I-R, Islamists fooling the establishment. It says the Council on American Islamic Relations, CAIR, headquartered in Washington, perhaps the best known and most controversial Muslim organization in North America. CAIR presents itself as an advocate for Muslims' civil rights, and the spokesman for American Muslims, quote, "We are similar to a Muslim NAACP," says its communications director, and it's Ibrahim Hooper, I guess. But the official mission to enhance understanding of Islam, encourage dialogue, protect civil liberties, empower American Muslims, and build coalitions to promote justice and mutual understanding suggests nothing, but it talks about this, a single office in 1994. Now it claims 31 affiliate offices, including a branch in Canada. I mean, the growth
See, this is nothing but a front group of the Muslim Brotherhood. Nihad Awad is the head and the founder of the organization. His name is Nihad Awad. Okay, he is a Palestinian, and he is part of Hamas, the same organization that kidnapped and killed the 3 kids in Israel the other day. And we're still looking for the people who did that. But he was part of that organization. And I don't know how he got the free card to build an organization like CARE and to have an access to the White House and to the president without even investigating his background and his affiliation in any way. This is an organization that is nothing but a front group of the Muslim Brotherhood. It is not my opinion. It is the FBI's opinion.
Yes.
It is the court system opinion. It's not mine.
Yes. In fact, this article goes on. It has 2 comments. But Steve Pomerantz, FBI, former chief of counterterrorism, says, quote, CARE, its leaders and its activities effectively give aid to international terrorist groups, unquote.
This is a proven fact. And how they have access to the White House. Can anybody answer this question? And you know what? CARE, as an organization that put itself as an advocacy group for Muslims, they go attack Muslims if they ever speak out about terrorism or about 9/11 or about the atrocity that is being done by the name of Islam. They go attack anybody who is not wearing hijab. They say hijab is a choice, but they attack any Muslim who speak against hijab.
Exactly. In fact, here it says
Muslims. They attacked Dr. Zulki Jasser just because he spoke about some of the things that they are doing. And he spoke about that there is some parts of Islam that is very shady, and he's asking for reform. They attack him. He claims to be an Orthodox Muslim who are practicing Islam, and he is supposed to be speaking for him as well. Why he is ousted out of CARE, why he is attacked by CARE, even if he is a Muslim.
It's unbelievable. It says here, CARE, for its part, dismisses all criticism, blaming negative comments on, quote, Muslim bashers, unquote, who can never point to something CARE has done in its 10-year history that is objectionable. Actually, there is much about the organization's history that it's objectionable, and it's readily apparent to anyone who bothers to look. This comes out of the Middle East Forum, and it's unbelievable. Even Dick Durbin is talking about, he said they're unbelievable. Unbelievable. So how do we get Americans?
You know, we have to find solutions, Greg, at this time, because we need to protect our kids and our future. And there is nothing that can be done with working with these organizations that already been proven to be funding terrorism and have a very shady background. We need to start a coalition between from those peaceful Muslims and give them the voice so they can speak for themselves and they can speak against those organizations and they can lead a reform movement into the Islamic ideology so it can be accepted in the United States. So the peaceful Muslims who claim to be peaceful have some resources to rely on. But at this point in time, there is nothing.
Exactly. It's just like blind. I mean, it's just like, wow, really? Is this really what's going on there? I mean, are we just giving them another free pass? I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I think truly the media gave, at the time, Senator Barack Obama a free pass based off of everything, based off of his experience, based off of the stories and the issues that came through. And once again, they said, if we bother to look, you will see it. And it's just amazing. Mark, we have a break we got to take real quick, but I want to come back and talk about this because we're just getting warmed up and how women are being affected. And this is where the men need to step up and protect the women and protect the families. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Dr. Mark Christian on the phone with us this morning from Global Faith Institute, globalfaithinstitute.org. We will be right back.
Stay tuned. Sunrise will return in a moment on KCMX News Talk 880.